All right, so the recording has started. I think my sound's gonna seem a little bit better. I changed the knobs a little bit on my on my mic, so I think it's going to come in a tad better. So, uh, watching a few things on Twitter, one of the things I notice there are I watch on Twitter. There's uh, fight videos on there. One of the things that I notice is a lot of people, they'll put their guard up when they're being attacked by an aggressor, but they don't they know to keep their guard up, but they don't know to deflect the punch when a punch is coming at them. That's all they do. They just kind of keep their guard up, and the person goes often right through their guard. It's really a lack of good self-defense to just, if you've ever played baseball or basketball, if you catch a ball, you can catch a punch. Um, and I'm not skilled in any form of self-defense. I just know that one aspect, and a few others, but that's one aspect that I know. So I was watching a few things on YouTube and then on Twitter with TED Talks and the way they've handled. I believe his name is Coleman Hughes. Really, the people at TED Talk really acted really sleazy and underhanded, and it made me, it made my blood boil. And then I have to take a step back. I'm still having to take a step back on how much the culture has changed. And I don't think these ideals and philosophies that some of these people at the TED Talks and uh, these leftists, some of their ideologies and beliefs, uh, that they're popular, but they seem to have metastasized in our culture, in the establishment parts of our culture, and it does make me angry. And I know I shouldn't, like I'm trying to practice stoicism and be detached, but it's just in this day and age of information, it just seems so dishonorable, and the way the whole scenario played itself out, uh, what's captured the ideology is just not good. And I think I think the best way to resist it is through boycotts and boycotting nonprofit sponsors and other sponsors who act in this way. I hope it happens. But again, I have to, take a little bit of a step back and say, you know what? I've dealt with things that are unfair and unreasonable. This won't be the first time in my life. This is the first time, grew up with parents that could be unfair, but this is the first time in my life where I am observing an establishment really be just lack nobility and just be captured by an ideology that is just that just feels so foreign to me, and I've never seen anything like it. And then also on Twitter, I was noticing Nick Fuentes. I guess Twitter being anti-Semitic, they were having a conversation, and I listened to a little bit of it. And I don't want to, I guess a free speech absolutist, because I believe that people can decipher good or bad information. But that might not be the case. I mean, Twitter might go, the way of Facebook with more censorship. and it might, be taken over by the woke Taliban or portions of the woke Taliban. The kinder and gentler woke Taliban that sees a person like Nick Fuentes as a threat, which I don't, and I do not agree with a lot of what he says, but I do not see him uh, as a threat to our nation because I believe that Americans and a free thinking people will look at nobility over nonsense, and they'll look over hyperbolic. People can decipher hyperbolic and foolish talk and foolishness. I think most people know it when they see it. Today, the left's hyperbolic and foolishness, they are, it's protected. It's almost like normalized and thought of as intelligent and enlightening. And the other hyperbolic stuff is censored. Nick thinks that women shouldn't have the vote. Like, okay, like that's ever going to happen. It's kind of just, I mean, again, people take certain things seriously and certain threats seriously. He may say things that are hurtful and offensive, but I don't see it as a threat to our civilization. When you censor a group and when you marginalize a group, which when you censor them, you marginalize them, and then when you treat them differently, which the left wants to do, uh, they push whites being part of the oppressor class, and they push kind of a racial vendetta sort of ideology because of that. If you're seen as the villain and the enemy, uh, people are going to treat you like the villain and the enemy, and you have no chance really to defend yourself because anytime you try, uh, they can uh, they can stop you from speaking, and it is kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. Uh, Sometimes it's best to keep your mouth quiet, or I'd say it's best for me to keep my mouth quiet. It's hard though sometimes. I sometimes I feel the urge to give in my 2 cents. The problem is when that 2 cents gets thrown back at me in a worse way. Another thing when I look at the self defense is the point of not being angry at people and responding with anger is also a good form of self defense because if you are calm, cool, and collected and also know when to walk away from a situation that can get violent, it is intelligent. Um, One of the things they teach you in anger management is know where the situation is going. Is it going to anywhere productive? You may want to say your 2 cents to this person, but are they really, do they really want to hear what you have to say? So that's my 2 cents. Uh, Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, maybe leave a comment down below. I'm not getting too many views on YouTube, but that's just the way it goes. Uh, Probably not that good of a show, but you know what? I do it for me. If I gain anything from it, yeah. Anyway, I'll end on this. Hypocrisy is abuse, and hypocrites are usually abusers. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Maybe share the video if you gain anything. If you don't, you don't.